The way that some OU fans are thinking about Dalen McCullough is the way I believe you should be thinking about Jason Witten. And we got lots of stories from Phil Fulmer, from James Hanna to tell you why. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. How do you feel about Jason Witten being tight ends coach at Oklahoma? This after a successful stint as a high school head coach, and he's also got a son who is fast becoming one of the most heavily recruited linebackers in the country. No word yet on whether or not Oklahoma even will. I say no word yet. There's lots of word on whether or not Oklahoma will feature in this, but I tend to think his recruitment is going to go the way it needs to go. Coaches are very, very cagey about offering up their kids as perhaps guys that could play for the place where they coach. I mean, this is across the board. You're just not going to find that many position coaches, especially, who are going to offer up their kid. Usually it's going to be a director of personnel or a general manager or director of scouting who's going, so when can we get your son on campus? And they're going, if you really think he's that good, okay. It's like that all over the board. I have a really difficult time talking with some coaches about their kids because they don't want anybody to believe that nepotism is playing into the decision. But nepotism is always playing into the decision because we understand what bloodlines mean and we understand what it means to grow up in a household where there's been NFL or college football greatness, right? Jason Witten is no different. And when you hear some of the stories that are told about Witten as a player, even as a coach, you begin to believe that he can do things as a tight ends coach at Oklahoma that perhaps we haven't seen in some time. And I'm not afraid to say it. As much as I really loved watching Jared Canick go from a linebacker to tight end to help the team and be productive at that position, he shouldn't have had to do that, right? Like, I get it. There is, shall we say, a surplus of great linebackers on Brent Venables' defense last year, but the idea that you had to go into the defense to go get your best tight end is never a good look for Oklahoma. It's great found money, but it's not the way that you draw it up. I understand that Bauer Sharp going to LSU might have caught many off guard, but Bauer Sharp is not the level of tight end that I expect to play at Oklahoma. Full stop. And I could probably take it back a few years before I could tell you about the last time I felt great about Oklahoma at tight end, because as much as I love Grant Calcaterra, that's not it either. It's Mark Andrews. You got to go back that far for the last time I believe that there was a standout, prodigious, great tight end at Oklahoma, and they featured in the offense, right? This is not just due to Lincoln Riley, right? Joe John Finley is my dad's favorite Oklahoma Sooner forever, right? Forever. And we could tell story after story after story about Jermaine Gresham and even Urban Meyer in the 2008 National Championship going, hey, thanks for not throwing it to the best player on your friggin' team. It's not Sam Bradford, it's Jermaine friggin' Gresham. And, like, Gresham was just that dude, like a waste, right? Not by him, certainly. One of the most talented players to ever walk through the Palace of the Prairie. But also, this is become an old hat for Oklahoma. Keith Jackson, I would make the argument, is the most talented player on the 85 Oklahoma Sooners. And the idea that you got him playing tight end in the wishbone, Barry Switzer knew what he had, so much so that he had a tight end back there returning punts just to get the dude touches because he knew the offense was not going to do right by him. I would also have put that guy at tailback. I would have asked him to line up in the bone, maybe at fullback, and see what we can do. But that's the legacy of OU tight ends. And I think Jason Witten has an opportunity to bring that back, especially if you listen to Phil Fulmer and James Hanna, who both spoke with George Stoya at Sooner Scoop for an outstanding feature about Witten and just what that dude might be able to do at Oklahoma. Fulmer famously moved him from defensive end to tight end because they had a need. He knew what he had. He also thought this is going to work out for Witten. But my favorite part about this is Witten, who is a team guy through and through, who all players look at and say, no, that's the guy you go to when you got a problem, did not speak to Phil Fulmer for 3 weeks. That's how upset he was about it. turned out to be pretty good, right? Will go down in history as perhaps the best tight end Dallas Cowboys have ever had. Certainly one of the most beloved players that the Cowboys have ever had. One of the man of the year type of players. But James Hanna told stories about him that seem superhuman, right? One that he has told many times before that I still love. Witten had 2 high ankle sprains and like an MCL sprain all at the same time. And not only did he not miss games, he didn't miss practice. And given what we know about high ankle sprains and their severity, MCL sprains, for me, that just doesn't compute. I mean, usually your body doesn't hold up. Forget about your toughness, right? Your body just says, we can't do this, no matter how tough your mind is. But Hannah looked at it a different way. He says, no, that's how tough that guy is. Like he said, look, when I got to the league, one of the things that I learned from him is just how much of this game is mental and not physical. How much of it is, can you tough it out? And can you continue to try to make plays when everybody else is down? And I think being able to bring that, a desire for excellence, but also toughness that has not been seen on the offensive side of the ball for a couple of years, that might translate from the defense. Oklahoma needs that in the worst way, especially playing the SEC, especially playing against the schedule, especially if it wants to play for national championships. I've never been shy about saying it. Oklahoma's not played for a national championship since I was 13 years old. I turned 39 this year, dog. Damn near 26 years. I'm tired of it. If it's toughness, if it's a little bit more want to and get back, bring it on. And that's where I live, frankly. Like when David Goggins tells stories about going through Hell Week, I lean in, especially when it gets to the nasty part, right? When it gets to the part where everybody's tired, everybody has hypothermia, everybody's getting cold water thrown on their clothes, everybody's being asked to ring that damn bell. But I see it the way he sees it. This is what you want. This is what you asked for. This is where I have an advantage. This is where I get to snatch a soul. Many of you know that I've taken up cycling here, most because I'm competitive and my knees will not hold up to running anymore. Doctor's like, hey, dog, you're going to need knee replacements. You keep this up. Your marathons, your 5Ks, that's enough. I said, I got to do something. So you play golf? No. Then you need to ride a bike. Cool. Now I've learned that riding a bike is about suffering. And I love that. And riding a bike up hills is about ultimate suffering. And I am not only built to ride a bike up hills, but I'm built to suffer too. So there is nothing quite as delicious as watching the men next to you who you know are hurting because you're hurting look at you and see you smile and grit your teeth and say, are you coming with me? And then you leave their ass on that hill. As much hell as Lance Armstrong has gone through, and he deserves every single bit of it, my favorite Lance Armstrong moment is him climbing a hill, looking back at his chief rival, Jan Ulrich, as if to say, I'm leaving. Are you coming too? And Lance took off, and Jan could not go with him. Bring that to the tight end room, dog. Oh my God, I'm getting chills. Whew. Make suffering your home and make it inhospitable for your opponents.